Yo, yo, we live?
Just the swirling purple scene at the moment. You can hear the keys.
What is up, people? We're gonna start in a few minutes. Can you let me know in the chat if you could hear me and the music? What's up? What's up? What's up? Beautiful people. Oh man, so stoked. How do you like my super ambient jam? Awesome. Cool. All right. Yeah, I got some cool camera angles going on. All right, hopefully you could see me. You could hear me okay. We did the test of the spaceship. Hopefully you can see my hands. See my screen if we're gonna do some Ableton stuff, and the good old main camera. So we're just gonna wait a couple minutes, let a few more people come in, and then start us off. Yeah, so maybe we'll do a little bit more playing and go from there. So we're gonna turn off all of these ambient layers going on and yeah, just do some nice chords. Let's increase the release time. Good times. My computer doesn't sound too happy, but that's okay. We'll just treat it like some natural bit crush. Yeah, have your DAW open. This is gonna probably be an hour max. So yeah, you can jam along. I might do some more live streams where we could do some interactive music making stuff. Been thinking about that in the back end. But yeah, just have like a notepad for some notes, you know, and we'll talk through some cool stuff. Hey, what's up, Alan? Geo? Got some champs in here. Super excited. Yeah, Greg the Gear. This took me a long time to save up and find the spaceship that makes sense for me. We'll talk about that some more. But yeah, we'll give it a couple more minutes before we dive in. Let's see what we got. Let's do some bass. I know we got some people like some bass here. Let's go the hands. Yeah. Whoops. Let's turn down that release time. Very easy to sound design when you got some parameters mapped. Cool beans. Very excited. Yeah, we can add some delay. Good old send. I think it's number 2. Quick delay. Nice. Cool. I'll turn that off because I'll forget it was on. Cool, guys. Okay, let's start this thing. So welcome to this live stream. Super excited. I've been wanting to do live stream for a while, and I may end up doing it more often depending on how the vibes go. If you guys think it's cool, I have a lot of cool ideas for sharing more of the process, and yeah, just making it more collaborative and more fun to connect with people over the interwebs, so it can feel like we're in a studio but not in a studio. Anyway, so welcome. Thank you for your time and attention. And yeah, awesome to see some amazing people in the chat. And we're actually going to be listening to some music for some people in the chat. So stay tuned for that. So today I want to talk through how I finished a 13-track album in a window of about 90 days. Okay, so we'll talk more about that. But essentially, it's the fastest, the easiest, the most intuitive it's ever come together for me ever in making music. And we'll break that down. And the whole idea here is that I want to share the principles and the methodologies that will help you be able to finish music that not only faster and more efficiently and get a higher quality, which yes, we want to do, but in a way that feels more connected, more aligned to who you are as an artist and what speaks to you, and really creating your own knowledge. That's going to be a theme. Which, what does that mean? It's extracting insights from the creative act as you're engaged in making music. And those insights that come up are your unique realm of genius. It's like no one else can show that to you. No one else can be an authority of that to you. And that's the whole ethos of what we're going to talk about, is creating your own knowledge, is discovering yourself through the process, expanding your creativity, expanding your artistry. So let me know if those are things that you want more of. And yeah, we'll go from there. So basically, let's zoom out. I'm going to share a little bit of my story. If you know the story, bear with me. But basically, I've been playing guitar for, I don't know, like 15, 16 years at this point, and got into production later on in my life. I went to audio school in like 2012. So like, I don't even know what that is, 13 years ago. And in the process of doing this, like I've always loved making music, loved connecting to sound in like different ways to explore it. I've always loved multiple different genres. And I know that a lot of folks that I've talked to in our community are also like multi-interest, multifaceted, right? They have a very wide palette of taste, which is amazing. And I was the same. And of course, like learning my favorite songs, etc., going to audio school. Why did I go to audio school, right? I really wanted to be able to produce music to the caliber, to the quality, to the level of experience that heroes on my journey achieved and how it affected me, right? And I wasn't quite able to do that beforehand. So I thought, okay, let's go to audio school, right? Let's learn all the tech. Let's learn all the frequencies and the compressor settings and how to run a session and Pro Tools, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And here's the thing. Before going to audio school, kind of scattered mess, like, okay, didn't really know how to produce music. I could rip on the guitar, cool. I could write music, but recording it, producing it, no chance. And then once I went to audio school, right, I thought that would kind of be the answer to make the pathway to produce music to a high level quite easy. And it was actually not the case. So what happened is I learned all of the technical background that is helpful to know, all the foundations, compressor settings, how to use the DAW, running sessions, different frequency graphs, different microphone settings, sound for film, mixing, mastering, etc. But that didn't help me finish music, right? Like I was still stuck with like 50 unfinished projects. I would start a bunch of ideas, very rarely develop anything, and almost never finish anything. And if I did get something past the finish line, it didn't really feel aligned. It didn't really feel right. There was something missing. It was like too stiff. I didn't get the sound I wanted. And the whole creative process itself felt like there was a lot of friction. And let me know in the chat if you've ever had that, like friction in the studio where you doubt yourself or you go down this rabbit hole that you think will be fruitful. And then you spend like hours, come back and you're like, I don't even like how this sounds anymore. And then you doubt your skills. And then maybe you go for tutorials and you're doing this kind of like searching process for a long time and maybe going for tutorials, courses, whatever. And like, it's still, there's something missing. So let's talk about how we changed the situation here. So basically what I realized over time is that I did not necessarily have a technical problem in my own journey. I had more of a creative problem and an awareness problem. So what does that mean? So in like, let's change the camera, change it up here. So like in a studio, right? And in your DAW, Ableton, there are going to be certain technical things that you need to be able to do in order to facilitate producing music, right? Like knowing how to use the software, knowing like what samples are, what audio effects, how they work, etc., how MIDI controllers connect to it, like being familiar with this enough so the tool itself doesn't become a point of friction. And the same goes with any kind of tech you got. Like whether it's a controller, whether it's an amp, whether it's a pedal board, a keyboard, a synth, a guitar, whatever, you want to make sure that you understand how it works technically so that it's not a friction to be able to use it, right? So audio interface, all that stuff, right? So that's like technical stuff, which there is obviously a spectrum on how deep you can go. Like you can always go deeper, but I mean foundationally, where it's like if you're in the studio in your space, you know how to get around, you feel good. Cool. That's technical skill. Now, creative skill is actually different. This is using technical tools to accomplish something meaningful and how to come up with ideas, develop ideas, and create an experience that's impactful. And also, how do you do that? Like, how do you generate ideas? How do you play instruments? How do you arrange songs and edit songs and mix them? The how, right, is really creativity and the creative process. And so I realized over a long period of time that I had never prioritized learning creative skills and like focusing on that. Okay. And that actually was the bigger breakthrough for me. And the way that I achieved that was by studying other things like psychology, like creativity in general, like systems thinking, and really going outside of music and technical stuff like playing an instrument and music theory, etc. And assuming that you have those foundations in place, at least to a base level, like I would highly encourage you to focus on developing creative skill sets. So let's talk about that. Okay. So creative skill sets are like, how do you navigate through the process to feel good, making music, having fun, and make progress, right? Because we've all been there where you're like scrolling through sounds and like you're going through presets and you have one loop going on. And if that works, fantastic. But if you do realize that some of those ways of interacting in the studio are not yielding fruit, that's where it becomes a problem. So let me know in the chat if there's anyone struggling with that kind of stuff right now, right? Learn some skills doing mistakes. Definitely. We'll talk about that. Problems are not a problem. They're actually, I try to find problems. There we go. Sick. Okay. So depending where you're at with it, what I would say is that if you're not quite hitting the quality or the essence of the music that you want to hit, as much as you may think or subconsciously lean towards, oh, it's a technical thing, right? I need to learn more music theory. I need to learn more mixing techniques. I need to like study more compositions, right? That can be helpful. But what I think would be the highest leverage is to understand the creative process in a very intimate way that aligns with how you naturally like to create and what your strengths are. So if you want to learn more about a system that goes way deeper than I could explain in one live stream, I'm actually going to encourage you to check out the link below and check out Music Creator Academy. We have some alumni here. Some people have gone through the course and gotten sick results. We'll check those out. But I would highly encourage you to check that out. It breaks down the entire system. It's a whole experience made to give you the pathway towards finishing music that feels aligned and like unlock your creative flow, expand your creative thinking in a way that you're creating your own knowledge and IP through the process. So I'm not giving you exactly like, hey, it's 4 on the floor kick and we're going to do like a side chain. It's none of that stuff. I'm assuming that's going to be your area of expertise, but we're going to guide your creativity so that you can actually get that endpoint. Okay. So from now, let's get into some music. You guys want to hear some music? Let me know. So what I want to do is I released an album a while ago, like a week ago or something, that was something that came together following the exact system and process that is in the link below. So definitely check that out if you want to learn more. And yeah, it's basically the music that felt the most like me that I've ever made, came together very quickly. And yeah, we're going to listen through some of it, just get your ears around it and show you what can happen from just following the process that I have inside Music Creator Academy. Okay. So with that said, let me go ahead and find the music. And I think I have it in Google actually. One sec. There we go. So this album's called Straight Outta Serious. Okay. And I'm going to play you the intro track called When Spirit Meets Matter. I'll let you decide what that means for yourself. And then we'll just listen to it and then we'll talk about a few tips. All right. So I'm going to play this. Let me know if you got this in your ears.
If you spare a little of your imagination, you will see many things that answer many questions. You will see continents being formed, the earth itself coming into existence. You can see all this and watch it before your eyes. Everything owes existence solely and completely to sound. Into the great voids of space came a sound, and matter took shape.
Rock and roll, rock and roll. So appreciate all the kind words. And regardless if this is your taste or not, like all good. You know, I'm into like prog rock, like experimental electronic, play guitar, obviously, right? And I just want to talk through a few things is that like following a process, like put it this way, I would have never in a zillion years came up with the main riff and like the main essence of this song by thinking about it. Zero chance. This was 100% emergent. This I discovered through the process, which if you've been making music for a while, you totally know what that feels like, right? When you discover something amazing in the process. And that's part of this system. It's like embedded in the process to optimize for this type of emergence. And let me break down like how this happens. So the main riff, so I'll play a little snippet so you can get your ears around it. Just the main guitar riff, which is in a very weird timing, right? This main guitar riff. It's super weird, right? Okay, so I'm gonna pause it, but that guitar riff, okay, which became what I would call the main essence of the song because I built the groove, I built all the other elements around this weird timing and this like vibe that this guitar riff has, right? And here's the thing, I discovered this guitar riff through a flow session, which is basically a type of session where you're just throwing all caution to the wind and allowing yourself to create effortlessly with zero judgment. And what I did was I plugged my guitar into my amp and allowed myself to capture chaos for 10 minutes. Literally no thought, no editing at all. Just random ass like pedals, like riffs, like going for it for 10 minutes. And then I didn't even listen back to it until later. And that's where the system comes in. I then listened back like a week later or something, and I heard that riff inside that chaos. And I was like, that's sick, right? And this just goes to show that sometimes creating the conditions to allow yourself to engage in the creative act, regardless of how you're feeling about what you're creating in the moment, regardless of your expectation, and just capturing that to then come back later, you can notice things that happened that just came through you in the moment, okay? And I really, really want to emphasize that, is that I am 1000% convinced that that is one of the methods that everyone will find something that is so uniquely you that you could have never thought of in a million years. That's music channeling through you. And yes, you can optimize that and like improve your improv skills, whatever. But dude, it became the opener for this album by me having no thoughts at all and just playing chaos into an amp, okay? And it became the main essence of the song. And essentially from that, being really stoked about that idea, building a groove around it, I'm like, this is happening. That gave me enough inspiration and passion to see this through to the finish line, okay? And also, side note, a few people mentioned in the course, there's a few people who are in MCA here, that I actually show you how to mix this song start to finish inside MCA. So if you want to learn how I've mixed this and all the techniques, all the processing, all of like the meta process, so that you can take that and apply it in your own way to your own music, but get it to sound in a way that's comparable in terms of quality, definitely check out MCA. Okay. So what do you guys feel? Do you guys want to hear another track? Maybe we'll play one more of myself. I don't want to go too long because I also want to share the love. We got some amazing other tracks as well. So I think I'm going to go ahead and play this guy, Scalar Jump. Okay. So we're going to dive right in. All right. So track number 2. So what's up, new people? There's a few people who joined just to catch you up. We're listening to a few tracks in a 13-track album that I finished in about 90 days or so with a streamlined system. If you want to learn about the whole system, you can check it out in the link below. MCA will walk you through all that. It's an awesome experience. We got some alumni here, but I want to really bring out some of the main principles that made this possible, not only to finish more music and to make it more streamlined and feel more connected to the process, but to create something that's unique and helps you discover that unique genius, right? And that's what it's all about, is like creating your own knowledge. So that's basically what we're doing. And to talk through some of the things in Scalar Jump, which is what we just listened to, right? So funny story with this one, like the main riff, let me find it here so you could hear it. this guy. One sec. I'll find it. That bass line. With this groove. Right? That happened in a flow session, right? So I jammed that out someday, no thought, revisited it later. Again, the system shows you exactly how to walk through all that stuff. But I was like, that's pretty cool. Like, I really like this. And the way that this one came together is that I actually built the entire composition, the rough composition of the whole thing in one extended, like, extract compose session. So I wanted to speak to this because, yes, in how I teach the system and in a good fallback way to run through the process, I break it down into distinct stages, right? However, like, you can combine these you can play with these. You can make these your own. Sometimes you combine multiple stages. Sometimes you go back. Sometimes you skip ahead. Totally cool, right? This is just a tool. It's not something to be like super religious about. But this one, I decided, like, okay, it was part of a challenge I did with somebody. It's like, okay, we have this one cool riff. Can we make a whole song in one session? So I did that. And how I did that is because I had a very strong motif, right? That do bass line, right? And I can highlight some of the other areas where that exact same motif developed and helped me structure the song in a way that's very, very easy, okay? Because I was leveraging the same idea. Instead of just trying to create and stack more ideas, a way to make things feel more cohesive is to leverage the same motif, right? So I can give you a few demos of where that is. Like that main riff, I'll get your ears on it again. That bass lift. Cool. That rhythm in your head. The first thing I bring in the song is that same motif. Over here. Right? Just as a melodic kind of contour in this like atmosphere, but your brain has already heard it by the time it comes in, right? And then that motif, I played around with it. I messed around with the DNA, and it led me to the background motifs in the chorus part where there's the heavy guitar. Let me find it. Skip ahead. All right, here. So where there's the guitar, listen in the back. There's this down, there's that motif. That motif came from that same first riff, and it's in the background here. Right? So that motif in the background of the chorus, which is an earworm, came from the same hook, right? Then if I skip ahead later in the process, guess what? I reuse the same motif again. If we go to when the guitar solo is happening, we took that same riff we just heard in the chorus, put it in the bass, right? So let me find that part. Right here. Listen to the bass. Right? So this speaks to a little bit more progressive rock song structure, but like it's the same motif, boom, ba ba boom, boom, but with a different tail happening in the bass. So it's a different role, like it's the bass holding it down now, but it's the same motif. So your brain recognizes it as familiar, right? And I want to also show you what I did do to structure this piece. I should have been prepared. I have this this framework I want to show you, because sometimes having a framework, right? If I'm like, hey, you got a riff, write a song for me. You might start getting in your head. You might overthink it. You might get too many ideas, and then you start to get lost in the sauce. But when you follow some sort of map, and again, the map itself doesn't really matter as much as the idea of you having some kind of meta structure in your brain. And let me just find this thing. I should have it pulled up. One sec. We're over here. All right. Let's find it here. What did I call it? There we go. Yeah, let's open it up. So let me share my screen. So this thing looks cool, right? That's awesome. But to break it down, essentially what I was focused on when outlining this piece, okay, is focusing on the energy of the song, on the experience, on the dynamics. And hopefully that came through, where it's like, oh man, the chorus felt like a way big peak. And then after the chorus, we kind of fell down energetically into this like reggae part. And then we built right back up before the guitar solo. And then we dropped down before the final chorus, right? All of these dynamics came by thinking about dynamics, right? So no matter how you do it, it's like building up energy to a peak and then breaking it down and then to maybe a transition to, again, another peak. And these types of like meta structures is what you'll see in any type of songwriting. So this can be a really cool way to get a unique song structure is if you follow these 12 sections or whatever. But the idea itself is just to focus on orchestrating your piece in a way that moves energy, right? And just to really quickly show you what I mean is like in stages 1, 4, 7, 10, right? These are sections that you could think of a leading idea, okay? Something that is leading, something that's primary, something that's like, yo, it's taking the focus, the main character, right? So it takes your attention. And if you listen to that song again with this structure, you'll see it exactly, right? It's like pretty much at every section, I have a new leading thing that's happening, right? Then in the middle, that's a great time, 2, 4, 8, 11, great time for development, right? This is continuing, progressing, adding to the conversation, giving it a new frame, but in the same spirit of what's already happening, right? And then the 3, 6, 9, 12, this can be musical transitions. This could be like energetic sound transitions. This could be buildups to a climax, right? But something that's signaling to the ear that like, oh, we're kind of going in a new direction or we're building to something, right? And letting the listener, like guiding the listener's ear in this way to know that's like, hey, something's coming. Oh, what's coming? What's coming? And setting up that expectation is what makes a really exciting listening experience. Okay. So that's basically the structure I used for this. And yeah, I teach this whole thing way more detail and techniques on all these different stages and the theory, etc. in MCA. So yo, if you haven't checked it out and this is exciting to you, highly encourage you to check it out. Finish some amazing music and then we can play it on the next live stream. Okay. So how much time have we got? We got some more time. You guys want a crazy tune? I have one more of my own tunes. And then I want to share some music from some amazing students that we got. Hey, oh my God, Primos is here. What's up? Pizza slice. Yeah, you got it. The slice rule. All right. Okay. We're gonna play the title track. Okay. And brace yourself. Okay. This is going to stretch your ears. Okay. This is a progressive monster. So let's give it a go.
what comes after or what came before. You just gotta bend your knees, take a deep breath, and jump. And you might think, what if I fall? Well, what if you don't? What if you fly? Fly, 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 fly,
All right, wild ride, eh? Hope you guys enjoyed that one. Yeah, that one was fun. I want to talk through a few things. So this one, the main drum idea, right? Like the main riff here. Let's find it. Nope. This guy. Right? It's like a weird polyrhythm, freaking ghost note, jazzy beat. Cool. I had that idea for years. Like I'd been always drumming that on tables forever. And I actually started this, like, this was a pre-existing idea before I kind of focused on moving it through this like process. And what happened is like I workshopped this thing so damn much, like with samples, with jazz chord progressions, with guitar riffs and then bass riffs. I'm like, where's the song going? Like, what is even happening? And it actually took a long time for this seed to flourish. It took a long time for me to figure out, how is this happening? Like, what is this track about? Like, where are we going? And that's okay. Right? Because again, like the headline of this whole thing is like, yeah, let's finish music in a time span. And that's helpful. Deadlines are helpful, but you also got to be real and listen to the music. Like if it's not coming together right now, there's no need to force it. Okay. Sometimes seeds take longer to grow and that's fine. And that's where having a system where you're aware of that and you're like, okay, this guy's sitting and compose for a while and you have a bunch of other ideas that you're still stimulating your creative mind, you're feeding your interests, you're focusing on finish the stuff that you do know where it's going, right? It keeps you having momentum. And this is the key. The system made it so that I would continue to touch this at intervals. You know, like a week, two go by, I'm like, okay, let's open up this session for half an hour, see where we can go and be like, I still have no idea where this is going. Cool. Like at least I touched it. Right. And by virtue of like touching it here and there, like I actually started to have new context for it. Okay. With the other songs I was working on, because at the time I was getting more into jazz chords on push, right? Like going over here and doing like, whoa, that's definitely a bass. But like these types of chords, let's get this nice thing. Like really weird stacked chords or like jazz progressions. Let me pull it up a sec. right? Like crazy progressions like that as something that I was interested in at the time. And because that was like really top of mind for me and I was practicing that, then when I opened up that session, I'm like, what if we like play some jazzy stuff on push? And that was the thing that unlocked it, right? But it would have never happened if I didn't have it in the periphery of my focus. Okay. So again, that's a huge advantage of using a system. And again, the system is not about like being rigid. It's about having like something for your brain to not have to worry about and just reminds you of like, oh, I have this. Oh yeah, this is a really cool idea, and keeps it top of mind. So again, if you want to learn more about it, definitely check out MCA. We have a bunch of people have gone through it and amazing, unique results from everybody. So yeah, check it out. Check the system out, bro. I want to share some students' music, which we have. I think they're here. There's Gio. We're going to play your track, bro. And we're going to Alan. Yeah, we're going to play one of your tracks. And yeah, just experience like what other people have got to from using parts of the system, going through it in their own way. And I'm just so stoked about hearing like just amazing music that's so potently itself. So we're going to check those out. And I just wanted to mention that if you have any questions about like the system, the process, or even the music itself, like specific questions, I know someone had a question about like the vocal sample. We'll talk about that. Be sure to save them because I'll open up for Q&A at the end. Probably should have said at the beginning. Cool. So let's do it. And then I'll show you a little bit of the Notion thing too. So let's check out some of Alan. So Emotive Gray is his alias, right? Sick. And he has a lot of awesome music. So I encourage you guys, go check out his Spotify, check out his links, go check him out. He's amazing. And this album in particular, he even has newer releases because he's a machine. And we're going to listen. I think I want to listen to Still of the Night. It's one that stuck out to me. And so, yeah, give him some love. Give him some love in the chat. And I just want to talk about Alan because Alan is an excellent case study of going through the system, making it his own, and really just like blowing it out of the water. So Alan did all the right things, put it that way. He showed up consistently. When he hit an obstacle, he tried his best to solve it. And then we'd workshop things together, right? And we kept moving through, like, where is the friction coming up in the process? Like, why? What are the things that let you up? How can we incorporate more of that, right? And really finding the strides that make it more flowy for him, right? And he was already a champ. Like, Alan's, like, consistent. Like, he's a monster. He's, like, consistently publishing, like, a new track a month. But when we first talked, he said it was kind of stressful, right? Like, it was, like, felt forced. Is like pulling his, like, you know, really, really overthinking. And, like, it was, like, a Herculean effort to do this. And then after going through the process, he effectively finished this EP in about a 90-day window. So he effectively doubled his output by zooming out, being very intentional through the stages, and taking his time to figure this out. Okay, so let's give Alan some love. Let's listen to one of these tracks. Still of the Night. Come on, Spotify. Damn. That was sick. Wow. Yeah, that sounded huge. And yeah, so stoked for Al. Like to me, this very cinematic vibe, like, sounds amazing. So mixed so well done. And the whole album is amazing. So definitely check this out and all his other stuff. So props to Alan for doing it, right? And again, if you want something that's like an expressive, amazing experience, something like this in your own way, definitely check out MCA. Like, it's gonna help you get there. And yeah, people mentioned the school community. So let me grab the link. This has kind of just been a nice little community that started. It's an awesome platform, distraction free, and there's a lot of really cool people. So like if someone wants to drop the link in the chat, that would be awesome. Now we're gonna move on to Geo here. Oh man, I'm excited. And yeah, really stoked. Like the community's awesome. Kind of like been experimenting with it, but yeah, there's some amazing people in here. I'm gonna be more active in here, do some fun interactive stuff. So, and if you join MCA and you have any questions, we're always here to help you, right? And there's a really cool group of like grounded, open-minded, amazing creators. So I'm really thankful to have this community. Cool. Okay, so let's move on to Geo. Okay, so Geo is such a champ. Well, there we go. Geo is just a multifaceted, amazing human being. So go talk to Geo, please. Do yourself a favor. And yeah, we've been like working together for a while now, and like he has so much amazing music and material, and he's like an amazing creative spirit. And I'm just so really thankful to see that he put something out there so that we can share and experience like part of his amazing stuff. And I know that he has a lot of other projects in the work. He's also an amazing vocalist that I'd love to hear more of. But yeah, we're going to, man, listen to Geo and go on an adventure. Okay, so here's a taste. Let's go for it. Damn. Like, whoa. Oh, I don't even know what to say. That was so good. What do you guys think? Yeah, stank face the whole time. You know that the music is hitting when someone's like, let me put it close up. The whole time they're like, oh, that's so good. So, oh my God, so stoked. That's amazing. I'm looking forward to hearing whatever Geo releases next. Like, I'm your number one fan, bro. Let's get on it. Cool. So yeah, again, the one thing I want to highlight here is that these are all amazing sonic experiences that feel like, to me, I just feel the art, and they're all completely different, right? Like me and Alan and Geo and Christopher and Scott and everyone else who's gone through the program, it's like unique and your own thing. And that's what it's about. So thankful for you guys, and really looking forward to hearing what you work on next. And again, if you want to fast track this process, like they all went through MCA, do it. Go for it. Check it out. Link below. Cool. So now I want to open it up. We're at the hour mark. Hey, right on time. Look at this, right? I want to open up to Q&A, and I'll maybe show the system as well. Just have it as a backdrop, or Ableton, whatever. And I'm happy to answer like any questions, go down rabbit holes, and maybe just talk through some of the principles. So yeah, stack them up in the chat if you guys have any questions, and I'm going to load up this thing. And yeah, let me just show you where my thing is at right now. Ignore how insane this looks. This all gets broken down in meticulous detail in the program. And again, you use this to whatever capacity is the most helpful for you. So you don't need to go crazy with admin, or you can, whatever makes the most sense, right? But I think the easiest way to show you kind of what's going on is like, okay, I got a few notes to myself, like, yo, I want to become like an Ableton guitar DJ super looper. Whatever that means, right? So that is whatever those words together, they stimulate something in me. I'm like, yes, I want that. And then right now what I'm trying to do is to make music every day. Like first thing when I get in the studio is just to like do a session on something. Just open the thing, do a session, trying to build that habit in, because I know that over time, if I do sessions, if I open Ableton and like open a card and try some things in the studio, progress will happen. So therefore, I'm just optimizing for the process. If I'm just showing up consistently, I know that music's going to move forward, and I'll show you that in a sec. Okay. And then I don't know if this, I have twins, by the way, and a toddler. So my targets are off, but at some point I want to release an album. Maybe by the end of this year, we'll have another one. Real talk, real talk. That's how we can do it with the system. So let's go down here. So this looks crazy. Let me break it down. So this is basically the instruments that I'm playing around with right now. Right now, I have a default template that I share with you in the program that is just showing you what could happen, like what I mean. And what I mean by like instruments is like limiting the options. Simple. Like when I come to the studio, I have drums, I have bass, I have a melody thing, harmony thing. That is it. And ideally, you design these, or it can be a guitar, it can be your voice, it can be anything, a hardware synth like down here, right? Doesn't matter what it is, but the idea is that you're intentional about it so that it aligns with what music you want to make, what direction you want to explore, and it's expressive. So what I mean is like, okay, if I have a drum beat here, right, I can play with a filter. As I'm drumming, right? Even the layout of the pads, I'm using push. These are like intentional things for myself, and I walk you through this type of thinking, right? But the idea is that you just have like, let's say we want to turn on a delay, turn on the feedback, right? Now I have a delay on the drums. And guess what? That's going to change how I play it. Right? Already starting to get in a flow. Add some noise. Right? So on and so forth. Bass, right? Guess what? We have a release control with no release. The note disappears right away. Wow, super staccato. Nice. Right? right? Sick. But if I increase the release, go down an octave, now we're doing these long drones. Right? See how this changes how I play the instrument. So on and so forth. So the whole principle here is if you have this stuff mapped out ahead of time, think of how much faster you can get into flow, right? I have a melody instrument. Guess what? There's a chord. I like it. Let's open the filter. Let's turn on the release, turn up the delay. Less attack so it fades in. Like, notice how fast this is to get your hands dirty and get into flow, okay? So I just want to demo that to you because it's so important to be intentional about this stuff and so that it facilitates flow, okay? So that's calibrate. Flow, what is flow? We're just jamming out ideas and we're capturing it, okay? And what do I mean? There's nothing here because I've listened to them all and I've decided which ones are actually kind of dope, right? And I want to show you where the ideas that are like, because I want to show you this principle. Okay, look at all these ideas. And this is just recently. This is a lot of ideas. And some of these are actually very good. I just only chose the ones that I'm most excited about. Okay? So what does this mean? This means that the more you create, the more you're going to have gold stuff that comes up. And it actually is a counterintuitive truth that you're working less. Like you might look at that and be like, oh my God, that's so much stuff. Yeah, but I didn't think about any of that. I just jammed it out and recorded it, right? And then later on, I identified like, wow, these ones really stick out to me, right? So now I'm going to work on ideas that are the 20% of my best ideas. And then the 80% of like, these are decent. Maybe there's potential. If you're only working on here, guess what? You keep momentum because everything you're working on is like pretty sick and you're into. And then from here, guess what? I have a whole album ready to go. I'll show you this in a different way. If I close this toggle, where are we at? Oh, let's just go down here. Okay, so I have about, what is this? 13 songs that I know I want to finish. These are in works in progress. Rough arrangement, a general idea for a thing, but it has the whole journey mapped out. Okay, and so what does this mean is like I have all the information I need to know if this is something that I want to finish, if it's something that resonates, if it's something that I'm going to want to put enough effort to go through edit, mix, and master to finish an album like we just shared, okay? And the reason that I can get so much volume pretty easily is because I'm not focused on perfection. Like all of these are pretty rough around the edges, but they have the main thing. They have the main arc, the main parts, the main idea, the main vibe, okay? So again, when you optimize for volume, quality kind of emerges, right? And then having a system like this is just helpful because like, yo, I'm mixing this Dizzy Mystics record. There's 8 songs in mix. Here's all the masters that we just did, right? I can probably move these to being complete now. So if I go in here, I could probably be like, yo, it's complete. And now it's out of here and on to the next, okay? So this is just a visual map to show you what I mean by having a system, right? Is that, could you imagine trying to remember all this and like, or spending all your time on idea number 1 that would have been meh. And then you're like obsessing over whatever. Like, let's say this idea is like, and then you spend weeks or a month trying to make this song the best you can, focused on one single thing versus doing stuff like this. It's night and day. It's not even the same conversation. Cool. So there's a little bit of the system and how it works. And again, this is optimized to work with your psychology. And again, don't worry about if this looks crazy. I walk you through the entire thing in the program, which is in the link below. Check it out. Check out the video. Check out the testimonials. You've heard some music. Rock and roll. Cool. So at this point, I'm open for Q&A, hanging out. Like we're live. This is amazing. I might do more live streams. This is really fun. So curious if there's any questions about the music we've listened to, the process behind it. Alan, Gio, anyone else who's gone through it, music stuff, like tech stuff, mixing stuff, process stuff, I'm here. So if there's any questions, let me know. And in the meantime, we might just jam out some stuff as questions come up. So let me check out the chat. I haven't checked it out for a while. What is up? Hey, yeah, that's right, Greg. Musical resume for the course. Christopher, nice to see you. Yeah, I want to play your music. It's just short on time, but somebody should link it in the chat. Let me find it. Sonic Travelers. So good. Let me put that in the... Why can't I put links in? Can someone put the link, please? Oh, there it is. Hopefully that works. Yeah, that's a great... Christopher just released an album. So good. So good. Like, such an immersive experience. He just released another EP. Keep it going, brother. Keep it going. Like, I'm excited to hear what's next. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. What else we got? What else we got? More live streams. This has been fun. Yeah, I agree. I've been, I'd love your guys' thoughts. Like, I've been thinking about either doing sessions live, like designing instruments, playing stuff, working on arrangements, and like working just through the system and demoing more of the process. But also there's opportunity for fun stuff. Like, we could collaborate, be like, all right, we're in Ableton. Let's go over here and be like, all right, somebody, what are we doing? Like, hey, does someone have an idea for a drum beat? Let me know. And we could do like collaborations and stuff or challenges. That'd be really, really fun, right? Four on the floor. There's our delayed thing, our delayed drums. Here's this nice sound. Love it. Nice chords. All right, you want that sound? Can I keep it? Yes, you can. Let's see here. Launchpad. That's okay. Yeah, like, I would work this a good point. Like, Greg has a launch pad and it doesn't have velocity on pads, but do any gear you have. Like, this is fancy gear, but again, like, I've been doing this for a long time and I really took the time to decide like what vibes with me as tools. Push is perfect for me. It just, I understand it. This, I feel, is perfect for controlling Ableton for me. So I made those decisions over time. And like, this synth is like, I had a few different synths. This is the one I like. I have guitars. I got my amp. Like, this is stuff you commit over time. However, like, I went down that trap of collecting gear and all this fancy stuff and still not finishing music. And I know people who make amazing music with so minimal gear, like just an audio interface, headphones, MIDI controller, and they just take action and are consistent. So that's a really good thing to emphasize because, yeah, like, the gear is really not an issue, right? Odds and ends. This is Workflow Wizardry. That is what I called it because why not? So yeah, definitely check out the link below for MCA, where it gives you way more detail about it. And we've covered a lot today, but more than what I can say. It'll help you. It'll help you. That's all I'll say if you want to check it out. Let's see. Organize, make notes. Awesome. Oh, printed it out. That's a cool idea. Capitalize, organize, made notes, basically all your ideas, tracks. Yeah, that's cool. Primed and ready to go. I mean, that's the beauty of the system, Gio. And like, I encourage you, like, your music is so good. And like, some of the stuff in progress you got is so good. So like, just have confidence in that. Like, it's remarkable. Let me show you what I mean. Like, having this, for example, when I open up my system here, like, I have so much stuff to work on. And like, if I want to just jam, be like, cool, like, we're going to jam out some new ideas and find some cool chords. Like, I like that chord progression. Maybe I work on it. And you work with your intuition, right? Like, if one day you're like, I'm just feeling jammy right now, like, I just want to check out some new ideas, great. But if the problem is finishing music, which I know a lot of us struggle with, right? Go back to the screen. I know what to work on that's going to leverage the most, to be the most leverage to finish music. Guess what? It's these 13 songs that are ready to go. Like, I know that I can finish these, right? So if I'm like, okay, let's finish some stuff. Let's move a rock forward. I could just be like, all right, we're going to move this one forward. Okay, Living Light. Let's open it up. I got some notes in here about what to do. I could listen to it again. Again, all of this stuff is in the course in way more detail. I would listen to the audio of where I'm at. We could even have a sneak peek if you want. And then make notes about what to try or what comes up naturally and just trust your intuition. And if you need more guidance, it's like, okay, we're in the compose stage. Here's all these action items baked right in here, right? So it's like, oh, I don't know what to do. If you feel that like uncertainty, just like head down, follow these steps. Set a timer, half an hour. Cool, let's go. Create a song map. Oh, there already is a song map. Don't even have to worry about it. Compose your track. It's already composed. Nice, don't have to worry about it. But maybe some of these prompts, like, let's see here. Let's see here. Song map. Maybe over here, there's some prompts, right? Yeah. How will I create tension and release between sections? That's a good thing to think of, right? And this is, again, if you don't have ideas, but if you're listening to your track and ideas come up, just rock and roll with that. Just like, oh, like this in the verse. Oh, I want to try this. This transition doesn't work, etc. Okay? So huge advantage to having this is just like, it feels so much more clear when you're in the studio and you like have clarity on what you're going to do. Yeah, unorganized setup. Like, again, it's the creative process is messy. Manny, I see your question, your statement there. The creative process is inherently uncertain and messy. Like, that's going to happen. It's not going to happen as you thought, and that's fine. And what this does is it creates like a lattice, a scaffold around it so that you can catch yourself and like streamline your momentum towards something where you'll actually get something done that you feel good about. Yeah. Looking forward to what's next. I'm actually thinking, Gio, I'd love, well, we should talk. We should get on a call, but like, maybe we do a cohort where it's like, yo, we're doing this as a group together over 3 months. Let's finish something. I've been feeling pulled towards that. Sick. What we got? We got more questions? Okay, I should probably look at the chat. Give me a sec here. I got too many screens. That's one thing about live streaming is wow. Okay. Low cost push. Yeah, that's, get push 1, get a push 2. Let's see here. Gear. Drop the link for the album for sure. I have done 0 to, this is the most I've done to promote it, but it's a trip. I'm pretty stoked about it. Let me get you the link. It's on Spotify here. It's definitely, a psychedelic, experimental, electronic, prog rock experience. That is what I would describe it as. Cool. All right, where are we at? Any questions? I don't see any questions. So what do you guys want to do? Should we wrap it up? Should we just start making some music? Let's yeah, push APC 40, sick combo. Ableton and others would adopt the DAW project. I mean, to be honest, Greg, to answer your question about Ableton, it's pretty easy. Like the people I work with directly, we can either use Muse, with Geo showed to me, works very well, or very easy to collect all and save and share the project. The only thing is if you're later in the stages and you have these crazy plugins that someone else doesn't have, that can be an issue, but it can help you force yourself into committing to stuff and be like, I have this crazy like effect chain with this synth and this plugin, just print it to audio and then send the stems to the other person and you can collaborate. Pretty easy. Yeah, live collabs would be so fun. Like it'd be like if everyone that's live right now could be in the studio and we're workshopping stuff together, we could figure that out. Dude, that would be next level. Cool. What are the exact steps to make a hit song? You're in the wrong place, Greg. Just kidding. Not the place for that. Be like, if a hit song means like a meaningful expression of my soul that no one else can do, then I got your back. If it's like Sabrina Carpenter, I have no idea. Ask AI. Yeah, how exactly does one collab with Ableton? That's a good question. What is sidechain? We can go into that. It's pretty simple. But yeah, Primo. So collab on Ableton, there's a couple of ways. There's a software called Muse where essentially we could be on a Zoom call or something, and I could be showing you my screen in Ableton, so like this, and you would see it. You could hear what I play, and I already got this set up, right? So I'm playing a chord, but you could also control the screen. So you could get on Ableton and control my session. And I haven't played with it too much, but apparently I could record MIDI from you or audio from you virtually, and we could actually collaborate on a session like this. And the other way is more asynchronously, where it's like you would just share with me your project. I would open it up, and then we could either workshop it together or go back and forth. That's kind of how I would go about collabing on Ableton. I wish I could make this chat bigger. Okay, let's see here. Any questions? Sidechain. Sidechain is super easy. So a compressor, I'm not going to go into compressor. you can figure out what a compressor is. Essentially, it just turns down the volume of something with specific settings. So very common technique is to side chain anything in your mix to like a kick drum, where let's say you have like a synth pad like this, right? Let me find some, like let's say you had this, it's going to like compress the volume of this synth based on the signal of a kick drum. So it would like, so every time the kick is hitting, the synth or whatever you map it to is going to get turned down. Let's see. That's a good question. Do you end up composing more at the workstation or on guitar? So for this album, it was a real mixed bag. But there was one kind of meta piece of information that came up through the process where a lot of the first ideas, to be honest, came from jamming with like Push and APC and Ableton, right? Like cool grooves, cool chord progressions, cool jams, riffs, whatever. There's obviously some songs that I had guitar riffs already, like the opener, but I kind of used it, like I just got into this because it's quicker, right? Because like with guitar, it's like, okay, I need to like plug in my amp, I need to tune it, and then like, okay, let's record it to Ableton and set it up, which is great, but I have to be in a certain mode for that personally. And also I've been playing guitar for like ever. So I have like, I feel like I kind of know what I do on guitar a lot of the time. So this is kind of new territory. This is tickling the novelty for me, right? But what I realized in the process is that I would use this to jam out and flow ideas really quick, pick the best ones. And then once I had like things in extract, the stage of the system where I've identified this is a good idea and I want to develop it further, or I've composed a full idea for a song, that then I would reach for the guitar, right? And start coming up with riffs, parts, counter melodies, cool progressions or whatever that are based upon what I already had in the idea. And I found that specific like process for me really took like, okay, I have this like pretty basic track that has some cool stuff going on, but as soon as I reach for the guitar and like come up with riffs on top, that's when the song really started to go in new exciting directions. So for me personally, that's kind of what I did for this album. It was like, okay, a lot of jamming here and then reaching for the guitar at the later stages to really shape the songs into something deeper. So hopefully that answers your question there. Let's see, any more questions? Sidechain, we got that. Have I ever heard of Void Stares Back? No, I'll have to check that out. Let's see here. There we go. Sidechain, yeah, sidechain's pretty simple. Let's see, definitely trying it out with the community. Yeah, that'd be sick. I'm gonna do some more live streams, Rose. I think that's gonna happen. There we go. Cool. All right. Collaboration. So if there's no more questions, maybe we will wrap up this session. And again, if you're like into going for it, focusing on your music, having a direct path to finish an album that sounds like you, just like how every song we listen to, every artist we listen to today is like unique in its own way, and something that's like really meant to help you find your own sound and express something meaningful, but also hit a professional quality, right? Like I went to audio school. I know what to show you and what not to show you to get music to a sound of really professional. So if you're into that, you want to really focus in, I've put in like my heart and soul in this thing. So check out the link below for MCA. And yeah, if there's no more questions, maybe we'll just vibe some chords and close this out. So let's go over here. Awesome. Hey, awesome. Glad that this was inspiring. Yes, please post some more stuff in the community. Keep it alive with me. Yes. Yeah, we'll play some overhead stuff. Awesome stuff, everyone. Well, thanks for your kind attention and presence. Very much appreciated. If you decide to join Music Creator Academy, again, I didn't even mention this, but I'm more than happy to have a one-on-one call with you to really listen to your music, see where you're at, find the big breakthroughs, set you up so that you know what your goals are, know what your targets are, know where everything is, get an onboarding, give you my feedback. Happy to do that, but that's only until the end of this promo, which is like till Monday. So definitely check this out. Yeah, like and subscribe and check out the channel, check out all the artists we shared, do all those things. Yeah, thank you so much for joining me live. This was super fun. And yeah, we'll play with you some nice chord progression here. So here, we got a filter. Let's change the sound. Let's turn down the delay. Let's get a longer release. Quicker attack. Go up an octave. Open the filter, different sound. There we go. And let's see if we can have some more release and a little bit of delay, a little bit of it. There we go. Amazing. Thank you so much for joining me live, everyone. This was awesome. Again, check out the link down below. MCA would love to have you in there. Would love to hear what you can create with it. And with that said, we're going to go back to this guy. And we'll play you out.